Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. Okay, so you just look at Michael Jackson, and this is the biggest thing about what I'm trying to tell everybody about Michael Jackson's story is that right now, you have an idea of who you think Michael Jackson is. Go ask somebody, what do you think about Michael Jackson? They're going to have an opinion, and actually an opinion based upon some kind of facts, not just like total, like if you ask somebody like there's a Nancy Pelosi, okay, like right, and I say that, probably a lot of you wouldn't even know who she is, and even if I did say it, what do you really know about her whole history, her whole life history? You know, what do you really, I said, what do you know about Nancy Pelosi? What opinion could you really give me? Okay, but if I say, what do you know about Michael Jackson? Everybody's got an opinion about him. And not only do they have an opinion, they've got an opinion with some real facts. This is a unique individual in our life experience, and it generates all throughout the world. This feeling that people have with Michael Jackson, it's one single person around the whole planet that's like, people know him. People feel like they understand who he is. And when you want to talk about one person that has that kind of a connection around the whole fucking globe, like, tell me, who would you say has that kind of connection that is that known around the whole globe where people actually think they know who this guy was? And most of the people that are alive were alive during Michael Jackson's life. So it's not like if you say, Jesus, you can't show me a photograph of Jesus, okay? You can't actually speak to anybody who actually knew Jesus, okay? So that's what I'm saying. This is Michael Jackson. We're in the era of Michael Jackson still. You talk to all the people. So everybody has an opinion about Michael Jackson, but my story comes in and says that everybody's idea of what they thought they knew about Michael Jackson was completely wrong, because the single most important thing about Michael Jackson, the fact that exists that nobody ever knew about, is that Michael Jackson was actually the love child of a 14-year-old Diana Ross and her first love, Smokey Robinson. Michael Jackson was given away to the Jackson family so that Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross and Berry Gordy could all further their career and build Motown, and become stars. Because that happened before they had established themselves. They had to get rid of that kid. That kid's just a kid. It's not Michael Jackson at that time. He's just a kid with no talent. He's just a kid who's hindering their opportunities to go out and make it in the real world. So just look at the simple reality. With those people in that position at that time in their lives, do you think there's a chance that they would have given that kid away? Knowing Diana Ross, being known as the boss, everything about what she is, knowing everything about Motown and everything, how it got built and everything. And remember, Smokey Robinson's actually in a relationship with the woman who's in his band too. Smokey's got a woman he's involved with. Not only is he involved with the woman, she's in his band. Claudette, his future wife, is in the Miracles. So they had real things they had to deal with. They had real issues. How do you deal with that issue? Well, if you get Diana to give that kid away, and then that put her in the connection of what she did, because now she's connected to Berry Gordy. Through having the baby with Smokey Robinson, she's only connected to Smokey Robinson. When Berry Gordy, when she gives that kid away so Berry can make Smokey a star, when Diana Ross agrees to that, she's now connected to Berry Gordy. That's how she gets to be right in the Supremes, right to the head of the band and everything, when she ends up in a relationship with Berry Gordy, which ends up with her first known child, Rhonda Ross Gordy, around 1971 being born, So the connections between them is just massive, and what actually took place. And that's the thing too with Berry Gordy. He's a lot older than Diana Ross, But what does he do? As soon as he starts his company, what does he do? He freaking hooks up with the young hot piece of ass, one of his hot talents, right in this freaking thing. He was trying to bang every piece of ass he could. That's Berry Gordy. That's also, we'll get into all that stuff. But so that's what I'm saying. Okay, if I want to show you a history of Diana Ross's sexual deviancy, I can show it to you. If I want to show you a history of Smokey Robinson's sexual deviancy, I can show it to you. If I want to show you a history of Berry Gordy and sexual deviancy, I can show it to you. Go show me a freaking history of Michael Jackson and sexual deviancy. Show it to me. Show me where it fucking exists. Because look what I'm telling you. This guy's a virgin. Somehow people have taken this guy who's never had sex Doesn't show any freaking signs of any history of having any sexual deviancy encounters in his life. And he's the biggest star, very desired from a young age. He would have had the massivest, most attacks of every single opportunity that ever could have been offered to a person would have been offered to him. But after he made it through that and became an adult, what's he doing on his own? This is what you see. This represents a virgin, because that's exactly what it represents. And then later on, when you see the stuff with the kids, what that represents is a virgin who has turned into a drug addict and who is so freaking emotionally damaged and scarred that he is just reaching for anything, because he is so damaged, he's dealing with so much pain in the reality of what he does, that he will reach for anything. And it's not a sexual reach, it's just a reach for a little bit of human contact, a little bit of companionship in this world, to just feel normal for a minute. And that's what the kid stuff's all about. You got a guy who's a freaking abandoned as a child. He's damaged by Diana Ross. When she comes back to fix her problem, because Diana Ross has to fix her problem that she abandoned her child. Okay, so she's dealing with all her issues. She comes back and re-victimized Michael to take care of her issues, to make herself feel better. But what happened is that she doesn't know that in her making herself feel better, she freaking destroyed that kid. That's actually what she did, because she came in with all the love and telling Michael, I'm your mom. Remember, just think about the reality of you're a kid, and then next this movie star, she's a singing star, Diana Ross, she's starting to do movies that time, but she's a big singing star. We're talking about a big star. She's beautiful. Next thing you know, that woman is coming up to you saying, I'm your fucking mother. What the fuck kind of world is that to live in? What would that have done? Then not only is she saying, I'm your mother, she's loving him, and she's saying, I'm going to make up for all this lost time. I'm going to freaking give you everything. You're so important to me. She's doing all this fucking shit to him to try and make up for what she did. She gave him away. So she overcompensates when she comes back. She overcompensates, and it fucked Michael up, because now Michael's getting all this attention from Diana Ross, and he's getting the motherly attention, which he never got any of that real attention in the Jackson household. And then he realizes why he was missing that in the Jackson household, and he starts full on going into the Diana Ross thing. But then what happens? Diana Ross ends up getting married to this Robert Ellis Silverstein guy. So she gets married to him right at the time she's getting pregnant by Berry Gordy. So she has all this stuff going on in her life, and then the Jacksons buy their house, their house, the Havenhurst house, in Encino. So the Jacksons buy that house, and Michael then goes back with the Jacksons, and he's back to the Jackson 5. So then Diana, she's living her life. She's got a kid now. She's got a new husband. She's starting to get more kids, okay? That's what happened to Michael. So then all of those years of Michael's teenage development, he was watching Diana Ross building a family, and Michael Jackson was like outed on the outside, being stuck in the Jacksons household. Now, don't you see how that's the environment in which this guy would not be wanting to have any kind of sexual encounters, how he was damaged? There was actual physical issues that he was dealing with, emotional issues, severe, that caused him to say, wait, I don't know if I want to get involved in a relationship, or what does that mean? Because now he's been victimized as a kid because of a young love that happened with Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. He was the one that was victimized and given away because of that action that occurred. So Michael, as a teenager, he's right there. He's informed of what can happen and all that stuff. And he's a big star. He sees all this women coming after him. He sees his brother getting into all those women's and the sexual. So what does Michael do? He pulls back. He doesn't go into it because there's no freaking history of any form of sexual encounters and deviancy in Michael Jackson's life. You can have people say, well, he said this, and oh, he must have meant this if he said that. Well, he did this, but not the real shit. It's not really there. There's none of it. And you can tell that there's none of it because Michael Jackson, as he progresses into his real life, this is what you see. At Neverland Ranch, freaking related to the Peter Pan story, which is about orphan children, all that stuff. This is the guy. Now, does that guy look more like the reality of the story of what I'm describing, and he's led up to be, this is reality, he's a virgin. He's never had sexual encounters. And this is what you're seeing. This is what developed. That's how this all developed. When you see the later stuff where he progresses with the kids, it's because he's into drugs. The drug addiction is full-blown, went into the kids, and Michael's got real problems. Real fucking problems. And so, the proof to show you just one simple thing that the difference of what this guy is, and I'm going to show you how the real world, okay, now this is the real world. This is Alex Jones on the Joe Rogan show, and he's giving you, he's telling you about a story when he was young, about a girl he had sex with, who invited that girl's dad invited him into becoming a Satan worshiper, okay? Now, if this guy, and this guy tells you too, like, Joe, you know, this is LA. So what he's telling you about, he's saying it, just think about it in the reality and the context of this. If Joe Rogan had this experience as just Alex Jones, if Alex Jones had this experience just as a total normal person, right? What do you think Michael Jackson would have encountered? Okay? But does there any history of sexual deviancy and stuff like that? When Michael speaks, you don't see it because he's actually a virgin. He freaking just turned away from all of that. Because this is how real world is.
I remember when I was growing up in Rockwell, Texas, I ran into like a satanic cult. I was like, God, this girl's a senior in high school. She's super hot. I'm in ninth grade, and like she's picking me up in her Mercedes, and I'm taking me some mansion. And the sex with her is incredible. And I'm walking out of the house because I looked like I was about 16 when I was, 13. And the dad goes, "You like screwing my daughter?" "Yeah, I screw her too." Whoa. "And just as soon as you join us, you love Lucifer, you get all the hell you want, boy, because we want you." But
really?
Oh yeah, but yeah, man, I've had an incredible life. Look at all I do now. But the point is that you're in LA, you know about all this. But the point is
I don't know about all that.
The point is that then the Satanists, because I never really got into Satanists, and I said, well, what do you want? Because I don't want to be, we want you to kill your dog. And so the point is that now, all these years later, kill a loving thing that serves you, cares about you, is interface. Dogs are very psychic. They're psychic buffers. Dogs are able to interface with you. And they want you to take something that's ready to die for you, and they want you to kill that. That's like killing a child. A dog is very similar to a child. Yeah. Very spiritual, very holy, very good. A dog will take on its master's aura, and it can be evil. But, Joe, I'm just totally spilling my guts here.
He's just totally spilling his guts. See? I'm just totally spilling my guts. Okay, but see how he's speaking? Okay, and that's just one freaking encounter. That's an encounter that took place over a short period of... Do you understand the encounters of what that Alex Jones has experienced in his life? Joe Rogan too, I'm sure. Do you understand the experiences and things that and we're just talking about like sexual experience and stuff. It's massive piles, and it's crazy stories. When they start telling you about those stories, like you're saying, Alex Jones, oh yeah, I was banging this broad. Next thing I know, her dad frickin' says, yeah, I bang her too, and do you want to join Satan? Because we're Satan worshippers, kill your dog. I mean, that's the real world. That's the shit you're going to encounter. And now everybody in talking about the mind control and everything about what Michael Jackson, because he does so much of the symbolism stuff, right? So if from your guys' interpretation from that stuff, you think that he's all under the mind control and everything's related to that, okay? But if you don't have the one simple basic reality, the most real fact in Michael Jackson's life, that he's not a Jackson, that he was actually orphaned as a child and given to the Jacksons, if you don't have that piece of information, how are you qualified to judge anything about Michael Jackson's life? Everything in which you see is wrong. Every judgment you've ever made about him has been wrong. And my story proves it. It does not only does it prove who Michael Jackson is, and it frees him from all of the frickin' bullshit that this world has put up on him. It doesn't just free him. It forces you to deal with yourself. That's why my story is so powerful. That's why I'm having such a hard time getting people to deal with it. Because my story makes you deal with yourself too. That's why this is the most important story. It's the single most important thing in our world right now. It's this story. This story is going to break. It's going to force every single human on this planet to look at themselves and rethink what is reality, what is true. How was I allowing myself to be fooled? How did I get to be this way? This is fucking important. This is real. This is happening. Be quiet. So it's just a simple matter. Like right there, I don't know if you guys hear it, my dad's banging right there, okay? I can't go out into the world and start I can't do that, so I'm making these videos. That's all there is to it. If I could get into the world and get into people's faces, If I want to do a YouTube, I turn this camera around, right? Get myself a little studio. Okay, well, I can't do that because I have other things I'm doing in my real world. I can't be a YouTuber right now. I have other priorities that take my fucking time. I cannot be a YouTuber. Okay, I'm not going to be a fucking YouTuber. That's not what I'm doing. But here, I'll tell you what's going. First of all, this is here. Anybody want to fucking step up and be a real YouTuber and do something that fucking matters in the world? Start fucking talking about this Michael Jackson story. Start doing investigations into the research that I have fucking done. You make your own videos. Look, I'm a director. I'm not an editor. That's the big difference thing. It's hard for me to be an actual editor in YouTube because the people that are here that are actually the YouTubers, what they actually are editors. They're good at editing. That's mainly what their real skill and their real talents really is, editors. All I see is a bunch of editors. I don't really see any quality directors, not really many artistic real people in here. But me, I'm that. I'm the artist. I'm the fucking director, I haven't picked up my guitar in years. Like, I have a couple songs on there. Yeah, I hadn't picked up my guitars in a year. It took me 1 fucking hour. You want me to write a song for you? Bam, I'll make up a fucking song, write the lyrics, record it. It took me about a fucking hour. If I actually wanted to put fucking effort in that, I'll be a fucking rock star. You want me to sing about this fucking coded fucking demonic shit in the world taking over? Oh, I've got plenty of knowledge about that. I can rhyme that shit up really cool and make all kinds of fucking cool message and symbolic shit to get you guys all interested in what I'm saying, to make you think that I'm a higher power and I've got fucking higher knowledge and I'm more of an eternal being here on this fucking place, that I'm special. The reason that you're lucky to be in my presence because I'm special. I'm an eternal power. I can fucking manipulate that fucking shit all I want. I'm not here to do that shit. I'm here strictly to do, I might do that later. We might get into that shit later. We'll see what happens and stuff. But right now I have only one fucking issue. It's to free Michael Jackson's name. We're going to free Michael Jackson's name from everything of what happened to him and all through society and everybody. This is going to affect every single person on the human plane. This is like when people, they yell, wake up. There's no waking up. You know what's going to wake people up? This story. Because this story is going to force them to look at themselves. And it's going to force them to look at the world in which they live. Do people understand the power of what that is? How can you, just simple right now, just ask you, try and think about the reality of how could you get to every single person on this planet and get them to actually look at who they are and get them actually to look at the world in which they live and to question themselves, how they allowed themselves and how they lived through that environment. Tell me something that would occur that would allow that to take place. Okay, you know what's going to do it? My Michael Jackson fucking story. When people find out that Michael Jackson's not a fucking Jackson, that he is being fucking railed as a pedophile right now, and everybody's agreeing that looks like what a pedophile is because they don't know the real thing. He's an orphan. He was an abandoned child. They couldn't see that he was damaged victim as an abandoned child, that he actually has that innocence in him, that he's a victim. They couldn't see that because they're all freaking deviant in their nature of who they actually are, so they want to put Michael Jackson turning around and freaking molesting those kids. That's what they want to see because that's their fucking problem. This is the fucking story. Do you care about fucking the world? Back this fucking story. Do you care about fucking making a change in the world? This is the one. Any of you people ever talk about everything, that's why I fucking get right back up and say, you're fake, you're a fraud, you ain't nothing. Because you can fucking talk all your conspiracy shit all the fuck you want, but when you're dealt with fucking hard reality right in your face, what do? You say, I don't care about that, who the fuck cares about that? And they run away, because they're fucking losers.